Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Test, test, one, two, three. Test, test, one, two, three. If I'm over here, does it sound a little bit better? If I keep it here. If I'm over here, does it sound a little bit better? Yeah, that's much better. This creates a lot of. This is much better over here. Always with a sound check, gotta make sure all the sound is correct. Okay. And we are alive. Okay. We're live and we're alive. Okay. Welcome to the live. All right. Important stuff. Gonna get right through it. It's a little later. Yesterday was kind of late too, but here we go. If you want to swim, you have to risk drowning. Okay? Do or drown. The only way to do. It's pretty self explanatory, but I'm going to get into it and then talk about why that's important to what I did today, right? All of this thumbnail making is making me really good at kind of turning ideas into something that's appealing to click on, I'd say. And I'm getting quite a nice kind of layout of my channel as well. I got a lot of lives with a lot of cool thumbnails. I think they're cool. And the only way I got there was by doing a lot of lives in the beginning that weren't very good. Just a thumbnail of me sitting from automatically picked by YouTube, right? I got here day 50. What the hell day is it? Day 58. I got there by doing it again and again, by actually doing the thing. I wasn't really practicing making thumbnails. Actually, whenever I would think about, creating content, one of the things that would kind of irk me was actually the process of making thumbnails. I always found that really ridiculous. I didn't like it. But now that I've done it a bunch of times, I'm very used to Canva. That's the software I like to use. It's a really useful website. And when I want to create a visual, it's very easy for me to kind of create it now. I kind of know about the physics of it, which is a strange thing to say about it, but it's like the way of you can create an image. There's plenty of softwares here that now that I'm used to all the different tools, when I have an idea, when I can envision something in my mind, I know exactly what tools to use and what kind of imagery I want and how I can use those tools to create it. And I've created like kind of like a black and white style with like a minimalist red, and then that's kind of the signature of the thumbnails. And the only way I got there was by slowly trying and just doing it, right? A lot of them, some of them were bad, some of them were good. It's all up to interpretation. I like them. And the more I create, the more I like the things I do, right? The only way I got there was by jumping in the pool, so to speak. And, the only way I got to getting better at editing on my phone, I've had experiences editing before, but editing on the phone is like a different monster. The process is completely different. But now that I've edited so much on the phone, I can do a lot of cool stuff. And I just got there by experimenting, kind of creating my own style of content and using the tools at my disposal and seeing what their capabilities are slowly and what the limitations are. You kind of get the idea of how you can be really creative with those things. And you get better at it. you just get better at it by just doing it more. Like I spoke about this yesterday about me with the deck of cards. Just time in the pocket just makes you better at the thing. It gives you superhuman abilities, right? Like back in the days before I was doing any of this, when I would think about making a thumbnail, it would uh, be a kind of irritating thought. But now it's kind of like, okay, just got to open up Canva. What am I going to talk about? This is the video idea. How can I make that? What's the writing? What's this? And then I just kind of make it up, right? And I just got a message. And that's what I want to talk about. I spent a lot of time talking about AI over here, and now I'm changing my efforts. I've realized where I want to focus my attention. And I'm going to be focusing my attention now on LinkedIn, right? I've noticed I'm making a lot of B2B content, right? That's just where my attention is. And anything that I'm trying to create is kind of more B2B. So I don't think YouTube is a great place to do that. YouTube's great for edutainment at the very least, but mostly entertainment. Uh, it's really good with niche topics that people don't like, that people wouldn't really usually care about, like city planning or Welsh history. There's like channels that go into like niche topics and kind of more historically, relevant things. But B2B content, it's like, what's the hub for that? Where are people actually looking for that kind of content? So I'm going to go on LinkedIn, and I'm going to go head first into LinkedIn, and I've got a doc, a process on how to do things now, and that I've been working on in the background, and combining efforts. This is an attempt to gain a case study. So I'm going to be doing that, and as the title suggests, if you want to learn how to swim, you have to jump in the deep end. Sometimes, there is no more learning you can do in the theoretical. Sometimes you have to jump in the water, and you just have to make it work, right? You learn, like, okay, move my hands like this in the water. But at some point, you have to actually feel how the water feels, right? Otherwise, you will not get far with theory alone. I think that's Oppenheimer, right? So that's the plan now. Just gonna jump in the water, and I feel pretty prepared. Actually, I feel pretty confident in my thesis. I feel pretty solid, and I think that it's more applicable for LinkedIn because of the style of content it is. It's kind of realizing that entertainment is not where it's at for me. Even though I like to make jokes, I like to try and keep it entertaining. But whenever I'm doing this stuff, it's kind of like whenever I'm on the live, I've noticed my joke to information ratio is quite low, and that's what I'm kind of going towards. There's a lot on LinkedIn, and been reading on LinkedIn, and people are really talking about how comedy does not work on LinkedIn, and I'm like, okay, obviously my way of looking at a solution is clearly aligned with the platform of LinkedIn. So I'm going to be testing LinkedIn out. So I won't be posting on YouTube or Instagram. I'm going to be solely focused on LinkedIn and developing that profile, prospecting, and seeing how that goes. I think I'll most definitely have more luck there, because if you're making education content, it can really get lost on Instagram and YouTube. Instagram, the issue is it's really more of a social media platform than it is a business information platform. And YouTube is just videos. There's no social media, so it's difficult to connect. And obviously we're working towards the idea of a micro authority. So for that you need a level of connection that LinkedIn offers. And I'll be honest, I've never been a fan of LinkedIn, mainly just because I never got around to using it. Um, but now that I'm learning, it's actually quite interesting, and there's a lot there that's useful. Um, and it's pure education. It's pure people just focusing on improvement, how you can improve, you know, workflows, processes, engagement. It's just pure education, and you don't get that on Instagram. And I find that unless you're like someone who's doing a combination, if you have like a big team of people, uh, Instagram's really not the place. But with LinkedIn, I can connect with a lot more people and provide the kind of value that I want to provide. And I think that's very useful. And I think I can do good work using LinkedIn. So that's my thinking now, right? That's what I'm kind of working on. I've got a video, uh, just finished editing. Um, and obviously, because it's LinkedIn, I've done a lot of training on YouTube, essentially testing out kind of content. But now I'm moving on to LinkedIn, and the kind of content I'm doing has to change because of the thesis. Because it's important that I get the right message across. So I'm going to be explaining. I'm going to be presenting my insights on what I've learned from doing lives, from doing what do you call it? Um, Doing lives, doing it's like music playing, doing shorts, and obviously, I think LinkedIn's going to be a great platform moving forward, not just for me but for everyone. And I think there's plenty of insights that are going to be useful for people on LinkedIn. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully, I can provide some value there to people, or that's the wrong thing. Hopefully, I can convince people, right? Because an idea is only bad if you cannot present it in the correct way, right? And my idea is good, but I have to package it in the best way possible, and I have to deliver in the best way possible, um, so that you know whatever I'm doing is the most valuable, the most useful, right? Because all that matters really is utility, right? Nothing else really matters. Utility can be found in all forms. And on LinkedIn, the utility is conversion, right? If you can get people conversion, they'll listen to you. And yeah, what's really valuable is what other people want, right? And what other people want is, it's like, what's the three things? Health, wealth, and what is it? Health, wealth, and relationships, right? Those are the three things that people usually are most interested in, like in people's lives. That's those three take big priority. And obviously mine's not health related. It's not relationship related, unless you consider being a micro authority and building a relationship with an audience that sees you as someone with trustworthy insights that they can listen to and get something useful out of. Um, my kind of focus is, I'd argue wealth, but in the form of conversion, in the form of how do you get people's attention in a way where it's useful, right? You see a lot of meme accounts on Instagram, and what was that? Um, that monkey marketing Instagram account that got like 700,000 followers in like a few weeks, and it got that crazy following, but it's incredibly difficult to monetize just based off of, I don't want to say meme because memes can be very monetizable, but it's just not a very monetizable meme. That kind of attention is flimsy, and the kind of attention you get from that kind of marketing is just teenagers, who want to stick it to the man. Those people aren't usually trying to purchase high ticket solutions. They're just in it for the jokes, in it for the memes. Uh, but the right kind of meme, the right kind of idea that can create conversion, I think really takes place on LinkedIn. And that's not to say that other platforms aren't useful. It's just LinkedIn is, I think, going to be very useful going forward for me. Uh, because I think the ability to build to build yourself as a micro authority is going to be very important on LinkedIn, and the kind of content you can create. And I think I've been on LinkedIn, and it's a lot of like images and writing. And I think my, let's call it, expertise in video making now, and kind of the process that I've created that kind of cuts down a lot of that kind of cuts down content creation to its kind of basic model. How can you get the most out of the least effort, right? What's the cutoff, right? You just need good sound, and you need good video, and then you're good, right? And and that's it. Because the main thing is, if you can take all the technical things to the bare minimum, all you have left is your ideas, right? And that comes from testing, right? And the amount of content you can create, the amount of content you can publish, um, gives you an idea based off of metrics that you can get, analytics on your posts. That information is incredibly valuable because that tells you the zeitgeist, right? Obviously, like I noticed that when I talked about Mike Tyson, when I talked about Indian scammers, I was getting good amount of views. People were clicking, but it's like, do people care about my solution, or do people care about Indian scammers and Mike Tyson? And it's like, sure, there's a filter there, and that's definitely a useful way of doing things. Um, but you really have to attack from so many different angles, and kind of be an ever-present voice in people's ears that's constantly spewing the most useful, the most insightful information out there, the most fresh information out there. That it's kind of like a no-brainer, right? It's like deliver, 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 value, 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 utility, utility, utility. And there's just no way that people won't listen if you're providing so much value constantly, and you're doing the correct kind of, like, if you're prospecting in the most efficient and useful way, and presenting yourself as someone that actually wants to help people, which we do, me and you, then you find yourself in a position where people will listen, and analytics will go up, and that's what you want. And there's no other secret to it. You just have to overdo. You have to do so much, and especially nowadays when content is so saturated. You have to be able to deliver above the baseline, and that's the only way you can stand out, right? I think I heard like an Alex Hermosi quote. It was like, to be in the number one um, of all podcasts in the world, you have to get to like the 23rd podcast. You have to do, or something like that. I forget the exact number, but it's like 22nd, 23rd, something like that. And it's like most people just get to one. Most people stop at like 1 to 10. And it's like, okay, it's just a numbers game. It's a game of attrition. If you just do things to a certain amount of quality, right? Reduce that to the bare minimum without reducing quality, right? That effort into quality, and you just spam, right? Spam usefulness, spam utility, spam, spam's perhaps a bad word, but you just, it's like boxing, right? The other guy might have the strongest punch in the world, but as long as you don't let him punch, you're all good, right? If you have the speed, like you know how to punch, maybe your punch is at 70% of his, but if you get more punches in, you've done more damage technically. You know, it's kind of this idea of accumulated damage. And again, negative metaphors, but consider what I'm saying in the positive sense. All right. And if you can, let's call them love punches. If you can give, or useful, love's a little, give like just value after value constantly. Be people's first point of contact for information in your industry, and do that consistently over months, and you'll just have more people listening, and that will just lead to a higher conversion rate. Because if you, and it's a double-edged sword, right? It's attacking from both angles, like again, double-edged sword from in a positive way. It's attacking from both angles, because not only do you become more aware of everything that's happening in your industry because of your time on the screen, because of your time in the pocket, you become, more knowledgeable as a result, and your ideas, your insights become more full of depth in comparison to everyone else, because you're doing more with whatever's happening in the industry. Your pressure on the industry increases, and rightfully so. The trust of people in you becomes greater, and so the process of doing this just makes you better, and makes other people trust you, rightfully so, because you're doing things correctly. And it's very difficult, and the reason why it's difficult is why you end up knowing more. You end up doing more. You end up just having that superhuman ability to just see the way the industry moves and just know what's going on. It's like if you walk upon a chess game and you watch a few moves, you might know what's going on and how things could play, just like looking at it a little bit. But the person that's playing has much, and you don't have to be Magnus Carlsen. You don't have to be like the guy, right? You don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You just have to be playing the game, right? If you're playing the game from start to finish, and you're making sure you're paying attention to every single move on the board, then you're going to just understand the game a little bit better. And you'll notice that if you walk up to someone else's game, right? And you'll be like, oh, if he moves this piece, this might be good. But if you keep your eyes on the board from beginning to end, you're always going to know what the hell's going on. And that's very important, right? And you cannot take your attention off the board, because you'll miss your enemy's attacks, you'll miss important information. So spending time on the screen and just always staying in the pocket is important, right? And doing that takes a lot of effort. It's like doubling your day, doubling your workload. It's like, if you're running a business, first and foremost, you have to run a business. Secondly, you also have to be constantly on the other side, just hammering away, learning more, right? You could probably do it if you don't sleep. Realistically, like, this is the job of founders. This is the job of VCs to have their eyes on the board, stay in the pocket. But because there's so many things to do for these people, it's hard to do that, right? So my content is going to be centered around that because I think that providing that insight, and then that's what I'm doing, right? I'm constantly creating content. I'm learning so much about the process that my insights on how to create content are now valuable, right? I understand how you can make your content look good just by using your phone, what to avoid. I've had so many pitfalls, and I've learned from them. I've improved my content, and I think largely I've suffered in the views aspect, and I haven't really went past 2 3K views is because of the type of content I'm doing. Because I've been kind of really trying to not to turn it into edutainment. I've been trying to make it as informative as possible, and it's been a difficult journey because it's like you limit yourself to 60 seconds, right? That's YouTube, and it's like you explain too much, and I've had this issue many times where because I've tried to put too much, I've had to speed up the video or cut out important parts that I filmed, or cut out even half a video, and then it's like trying to make something out of it, and it's like now it's like one piece of information. How can I present that in the most attractive way possible, and make the video look good as possible with as little effort as possible, right? And I've gotten a pretty good grasp at that now. Um, but obviously, there's more to it because with informative content, you really have to find people who are really interested, and that comes from prospecting, which is something that I have not been doing, but I've been excited to do. So, new phase. We're going into prospecting, which is going to be fun because I enjoy socializing. I enjoy talking to people, and I feel a lot more confident about my ability to present this as an idea because I've spent so much time on it. Right? I've had so many really bad days trying to figure out like really like crushing problems. Right? Can't even begin. Right? And that is incredibly valuable. And yeah, that's incredibly valuable. And yeah, I'm excited to get started. I think one thing I have been missing is shouting platforms, and now with LinkedIn, I've kind of got a shouting platform the in the what would you call it, social media, in my content posting platform, um, and yeah, just call it a platform. In the platform, there's a social media, and I can connect with people, and I can kind of use that internal built-in thing to see what I can do. So that's exciting. I'm excited. Plenty of work to do. I have to present my ideas now to people, and I'm gonna obviously bring you guys along for the journey. And we'll call it an end there. I think. I think at some point, because the kind of work is so different, that I'm going to be doing much longer lives, and just be prospecting on it. And I think that's going to be fun, be showing you exactly how you, obviously learning myself on how to improve and getting that insight, and then teaching you that so that you can perform better than me. Um, yeah. well, or to the same quality in a much shorter time. Um, yeah, I'm gonna start showing you that now, and this is about to get really fun. So I'm excited. I'm glad I'm doing this. I think it's a good progress. We're learning how to swim, metaphorically. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. I hope you follow along. Hope this is useful. And remember, if you want to swim, you have to risk drowning. You have to do things that are gonna that make you feel like people are gonna laugh at you for, right? A lot of things, everything that's worth doing in life has a sense of failure in it, and that sense of failure is bruising to the ego, and that can prevent you from doing things. And the thing about the ego is it's a no good, dirty liar, because it really doesn't matter what people think as long as you know, not believe, as long as you know that what you're doing is actually valuable and people can value from it. So therefore, whatever you're doing, uh, it has a domino effect uh, in the world that provides good, provides utility, provides value, and that is a good thing. So, and you cannot deprive the world of great ideas. The real ego is is there. You know, consider it this: if you have so many great ideas, why aren't you saying them? If they're great ideas, you have to say them. There's people out there with terrible ideas, not naming names, and they're doing a lot with it. So, come up with a good idea and jump in the water. Metaphorically, get a swimming instructor, learn how to swim, watch some YouTube videos, go on the shallow side of the pool, and stay safe in the water. Drowning is horrible. Before I really knew how to swim, I did almost drown. And it's not fun. But now I know how to swim, and mostly treading water is still kind of a mystery to me, but I can do it for a few seconds. Um, yeah, this was fun. I hope that that was useful. So be good, do good things, and subscribe, and good things will happen. I don't really know what I plan to do after these lives. See. I might see. So, yeah. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.